Let's break the silence. Her unapologetic voice. Stop shrinking to fit. This is your turning point. Women who rose from the ashes, stepping into the joint. God-given purpose calling, louder than the noise. Critical thinking, courage, vulnerability with poise. Reclaim your power, reclaim your confidence, faith and healing in motion, holy oxygen. What lights you up, ignite your passion now. You've got a voice with meaning.
You're listening to Let's Break the Silence with Angeline, the show that helps faith-driven women break free from silence, heal through sisterhood, and rise into divine confidence. I'm your host, Angeline Constantinou, and each week we're diving into conversations that ignite healing, identity, and purpose. So if you're ready to step into your power, you're in the right place.
Unapologetic voice, this mic is yours to
Good afternoon, everyone, or good evening. Welcome to my live broadcast today. Today is Monday. Today is Martin Luther King Day, and I am going live right here on Facebook, on my YouTube channel at Let's Break the Silence with Angeline, and on LinkedIn. So today we are going to be talking about, or I'm going to be talking about, a topic that I was watching over the weekend. So the name of the live and the topic that we are going to be talking about today is modern feminism. Did empowerment cost women, family, and connections? So before we dive in, please let me know where you are live streaming from so I can give you a shout out, and want to continue to receive resources that will equip and empower you on your healing journey. So please stay in the now with news and promotions, because I am going to be making a lot of announcements coming up within the next few weeks. So please go to my website at letsbreakthesilence.com. I send out weekly newsletters and weekly newsletters of empowerment and live events. So backed by popular demand, I will be hosting the Awaken Your Identity event workshop on Thursday night, January 29th at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. So please register using that link right there. And it is going to be a 2-hour workshop focusing on the 3 pillars of transformation that help me step into my true purpose and calling. So please say hello in the comments, and I am just going to dive right in, because I feel that this topic needs to be brought out in the open to bring awareness. And this panel discussion that I was watching on Saturday was actually live on TikTok. So they were talking about modern feminism versus, as we all know, feminism that happened in the past. So what I want to talk about is regarding modern feminism. Did it abandon family? Okay. Because women gained financial independence, career access, the right to vote, leadership opportunities, the ability to leave unsafe relationships, such as me and many others who have broken the silence and spoken out, and a voice in spaces that once excluded them. So For many women, this wasn't optional, it was survival. So access and safety were non-negotiable, and your voice matters. Okay? Your voice matters. Because I don't know how you feel, but let me know in the comments. Many women do feel empowered today, yet they feel exhausted, lonely, and disconnected. And one of the reasons why they feel that way is because they're wearing so many different hats. I'm sorry. They are wearing so many different hats. So let me know if this is resonating with you, and I would love your thoughts and your comments on this. Okay. And today we are going to explore what modern feminism gave women and what it may have unintentionally left behind. Okay. So, like I said, today conversation is an honest reflection on what we've gained and what we may have unintentionally left behind. So let's honor the truth. So regarding this topic, let me just tell you my honest opinion. There is a misconception to dispel out there. Okay, so one of the things is that many women who talk about feminism, there's a misconception that some women may hate men. And for me, that's not the case. Okay. I've been blessed with many male leaders and influencers who support my cause and mission. I've spoken on stages, and I've shared my own personal journey. So I think, the thing is that women are still continuing to fight. They feel that they're tired of doing everything alone because, like I said, they wear different hats. They're guilty for wanting more fulfillment and family. And they are ashamed for craving softness after years of survival. And there's a conflict, I feel, between ambition and presence. And they are afraid to admit that they want support. Okay. So there's nothing wrong with asking for support. Some women may feel disconnected. Okay. They want to stand up. Like for me, I stand up what I believe is right. And I've talked about my journey escaping domestic violence. And I've been single for 18 years. And I'm very proud of that because guess what? I know my worth. And I am not going to settle for less than what I deserve. And in today's, society, a lot of us women focus on self-love, and we do need self-love because if we can't nurture ourselves, how are we going to pour that love into family? And so anyways, what I want to do is redefine empowerment. So real empowerment looks like making choices without shame, career without feeling burnout, family without loss of identity, faith without suppression, strength without emotional numbness. So, wanting to have a career, there's nothing wrong with that. There is nothing wrong with that. Having a career. So, actually, there are women out there who are carrying it all. They are carrying the responsibilities of the home, the kids, and they're working full time, and they're looking for that support because, let's just say this, by the end of the day, I don't know how some women feel, but maybe when they come home from work, they feel exhausted. And, then they have to take their child to the soccer game. So, women carry today different roles rather than, back in the day where, so I'll give an example. So when my parents got married in 1960, my mom stayed home and my dad carried my great uncle's legacy and took over the restaurant and candies. And my mom then went to go work with my dad. But then my mom would come home every single day in the afternoon without fail after we came home, after we got home from school. So because she wanted to make sure that we did our homework, and she would come home and cook. But that's not the case today. Women today are working very, very hard to reclaim their identity. And I feel that, sometimes, some men may not recognize that. Okay. They may think, oh, you're just a feminist, that's a false belief. That's a false belief. So, many women do feel burnout from self-reliance. And like I said, they are guilty. Some may feel guilty for wanting both ambition and connection, but that's not the case. Okay. That is not the case. What we need to do is to explore what modern feminism gave women. So I see a lot of women entrepreneurs out there who are out there amplifying their voices. They are out there to be heard, because there's a lot. This is from my perspective, okay? In my own words, real and raw. So let's get real and raw and vulnerable about this, okay? Like for me, what was important to me was to be the voice for change after domestic violence, because my ex-partner controlled the finances. I realized later that there was financial abuse. And what I had to do is I had to regroup, and I had to make a huge shift so I could, after my divorce, I could live independently. And I'm very proud to be independent. I'm very, very proud to live an independent life. So, and that takes a lot of courage. It takes a lot of courage to stand up for yourself, because that was something that was lacking, meaning standing up for myself. So if this is you, please let me know in the comments below. Okay. So anyways, what I want to say is this: I'm very happy to be live today, this afternoon. This is something that I'm going to be consistent in doing. Okay. So many women out there, some women, like I know for me, I told my story without feeling ashamed. And that is so, so important. For me, I spoke out. And I remember being told, I would say in my high school years and adult years, that, well, I would say high school, but more high school than child. I would say in my high school years, because I was looking to elevate myself. So, oh, this is Leandra. Hi, Leandra. Hey, Queen. Rich Rising. How are you? How are you? And I hope you're having a blessed day. So we're talking about here modern feminism. So did empowerment cost women family and connection? So that's what we're talking about today. And I'm going to watch your live because I missed it. And because I had an early morning meeting this morning. I'm actually working today. So let me just go back to some of the talking points. Okay. So just bear with me for 1 second. So, like I have to see where I left off. Okay, so just give me 1 second, everyone. Okay, so all I can say is, like, back in the day, feminism, what it was in the past. So women could not vote, work freely, own property, or control finances. So that fight was external: laws, systems, and opportunities. So what I want to say is that we went from not having those rights to now equality. And I know that a lot of women feel today that they're still not getting paid, you know, that a lot of women feel that they're being underpaid for their work, meaning that men are making more money than women. And I still see that today. Oh, thank you. I'm glad you're doing well. I know. I'll watch the replay because I love your lives on Monday mornings. They're very inspiring. So everyone follow Leandra. She's amazing. She goes live on Monday mornings early at 8. And I was already, I was ready, but I was just not fully in the present moment. So anyway, so I'm glad that you're here. Okay. So, like today, I feel that some women feel pressured. I don't know if this is you, but some women feel pressured to be everything. And, for me, for many years, I felt ashamed for sharing my story, meaning that what I was alluding to before was, like, I was told that I was outspoken. Okay. Which meant only one thing: to stop suffering in the silence and to speak up. Because if God is putting it in your heart to speak up, then speak up. Okay. Speak up in a way that is non confrontational. Because I actually had a conversation about this, I think it was last week or the week before, with my mentor, with one of my mentors, who's a woman. She we talk a lot about embodiment and how we feel in our body, but it does, if we talk about leadership, and it doesn't mean that we don't like men. Okay. So, hopefully this is making sense. Okay. And I know that so this panel discussion that I witnessed on Saturday was very enlightening to me, and that spurred me to do this live and this podcast episode. But yes, sad. Okay, here we go. Here we go. I'm glad you're here. Yes, it's sad. Women are still being underpaid. I totally agree with you. I totally agree with you. And I would love to provide some statistics on that, because you know what? It is true, especially in corporate America. And a lot of women don't feel recognized. And that's why we need conversations like this. What we have to do is have these honest and hard conversations. So if you are in agreement with this, please let me know. Okay. Because these are the conversations that we must have. Okay. They're working twice as hard. They're feeling burnout. They're not feeling that support. So, the belief that the women have to stay home now, women can work remote too. There's a lot of options out there for women, meaning women can work remote. They can start their own business and they can be home with the kids. And, I've witnessed that myself. A lot of single moms out there are working from home now because they don't want to go to work at a corporate job. They, want that independence and that freedom. And I know that's what I did back in corporate America. So back when I worked in corporate America, and then, I felt that I was being underpaid. So let me share that experience with you. I felt that I was being underpaid and doing more work. And, really, really putting my heart and soul into that full-time job, which actually did not align with me anymore. And it caused burnout, it caused stress. There was a lot of, emotional stress and just feeling pressured every single day, Monday through Friday. Had to clock in at 8:30 in the morning. And then, you know, you're being monitored and you're being micromanaged and while you're doing your job. To me, that's not growth. And being underpaid, because I was being underpaid. So I asked for a raise. They didn't give it to me. And I ended up leaving. And now I'm pursuing, my truth. I am pursuing, obviously, my true calling. So, why is it that women feel so exhausted and underpaid? Yeah, why do they feel so exhausted and underpaid? Let me know in the comments, please. And then I will share my thoughts, okay? So, why do women feel so exhausted and underpaid? And if you're watching live on my YouTube, please please make a comment. If you're watching on Facebook, please comment on Facebook like Leandra is. And if you are watching live on LinkedIn, please make a comment below. I would love your thoughts on this, okay? So, most women are not just doing their paid work, they are managing emotional labor, meaning the office morale, the client care, the relationship building. They are taking on tasks no one tracks or rewards. So they're not receiving recognition, over functioning to prove competence, and carrying mental loads at work and at home. So the hustle culture that I talk about a lot, okay? Women are giving more and are paid less. Women are often expected to be flexible, nurturing, being agreeable, being emotionally available, and picking up the slack. And this type of labor does improve teams, and it also retains clients and prevents conflict. It creates psychological safety, yet it's rarely compensated, promoted, or protected. So women are giving a lot more in the workplace and they're getting paid less, okay? And the modern work culture promotes long hours, constant availability, overachievement, productivity at the expense of health. And many women today are running on adrenal fatigue, ignoring nervous system burnout. They are pushing through instead of healing. Or I say it, take a step back, performing strength instead of receiving support. So what looks like success on paper often feels like survival in real life. And there are pay gaps. There are slower promotion tracks. There's fewer negotiating opportunities. So women have been conditioned are taught to be grateful instead of being assertive. So it's very important to be assertive. And we have to do more. Exactly. Leandra, we need to do more. I totally agree with you. We need to do more and bring awareness. Absolutely. To talk about this in the workplace. So, and there's a big cost for that. Like when I know for me, I was burnt out. So resentment starts to build, motivation. I didn't have the motivation to get up and take a shower and go to work. And, many women, ask themselves, why am I working this hard and still struggling? Okay. So Women aren't exhausted because they lack ambition. They're exhausted because they've been carrying too much for too little, too long. And what we need to do is we need to bring awareness to this. So, anyways, I hope that you all are having a wonderful day, and I'm going to bring some more light. So how does this connect to what I'm talking about today? Okay. So my conversation about family being sidelined explains underpayment beautifully. So meaning women are being underpaid. Okay. Because like I said, they're wearing different hats. They have been pressured to work more, and society has, this is how I feel today, okay, versus when I was growing up. When society devalues family and care, it also devalues the women who carry it, okay? So in a sense, the family is put last, meaning you just have to work harder, okay? And forget about your family. In fact, I want to share something important that just rang a bell with me. When I was working at my last job in corporate America 2 years ago, I remember that there was a meeting. Okay, it was like a regional meeting, but we met on Zoom because everyone furloughed and worked from home. So I will never forget what this sales rep said. He was one of the top reps in the company. He said, forget about your family when you come to work. And I sort of understood where he was coming from. Like, you have to focus totally on your job. But then he said something that did not resonate with me. And he said, your job is your whole life. And I was like, what? What are you talking about? People have lives after work. Okay. So when he said that, I was like, OMG. And it was a male who said that. Okay. Women in that organization few women were recognized. But when he said that, I was like, oh no, this is not for me. I said, no. God, I leaned into God for advice. I always lean into God for everything. So I remember leaning into God, and God said that you could do better. That, you were born here, you are here for a purpose, not to work in a corporate America environment. You are here to empower women. You are here to help women reclaim their confidence. So, so this is one of the things that was brought to light. Okay. So my big message today is that feminism, my episode is not saying that feminism failed women, family should replace ambition. It's saying empowerment must evolve. So true empowerment includes, number one, fair pay, sustainable work, support systems for women, family and community, faith, values, and nervous system health. Okay. So when we talk about women being exhausted and underpaid, we're really talking about empowerment without support. So do you agree with me on that? Please let me know in the comments if you agree with me on that. Okay. We gave women access, but we didn't protect connection, care, or sustainability. And no woman was meant to thrive by doing everything alone. We're not meant to do life alone. Okay. In fact, I am going to be joining a women's Bible study here very soon. So I'm really, really happy about that. So, because we as women need to nurture ourselves and to love on ourselves, because when we do that, we're able to love on others. Okay. And we are able to take care of our family. We're able to work. So, work in a way where it's not stressful. Okay. And if you have your own business, that's great, because guess what? You get to make your own hours. So, so I hope that this podcast live today brought some light to this. Leave me a comment below. I would love your thoughts. And what I'm going to do is this podcast episode will be uploaded on Spotify this week. We're just going to we'll just repurpose everything. So if you found value in this live today, please hashtag value in the comments. And if you are going to be watching the replay, hashtag replay in the comments below. All right. So please follow us on Spotify. So please follow us on IG, Instagram at let's_break the silence, Spotify, Apple, and YouTube at Let's Break the Silence with Angeline. And thank you so much for your support. This is our 7th season. This is episode number 2. And on Wednesday, I am actually going to be interviewing, because in 2.5 weeks, I'm flying out to Austin, Texas for the Real Raw Liberation event. I am going to be interviewing this powerful woman with whom I'm working with, and she is amazing. I've been working with her for a couple of months now, and she's changed my life. And we're going to be talking about the Real Raw Liberation event. We're going to be talking about what inspired her to host this event, to co-host this event in Austin, Texas. So I can't wait. And if you haven't gotten your tickets yet, please send me a direct message. And yes, this is for women only, but that's okay. All right. Because we need to do more. We need to do more. We have to do more. And let's do that. So stay tuned for that announcement. And I wish you all an amazing day. Please go follow me on Let's Break the Silence on Spotify, Apple, and YouTube. Please leave me a comment. Please subscribe. Please leave me a rating. Would love comments. That will only, because on the podcast, it will, we will get more recognition, if that makes sense. Okay. Because podcasting I love podcasting, and we will get seen more in the algorithm. Okay. So I want to wish you a great day. Blessings to all of you, and have a blessed Monday.